Hi, I'm Dan Hegstad. Welcome to my vlog and podcast, Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving. It is, in fact, based on my book of the same title, and this is available as a printed book, which you can get through Amazon or from me if you see me. And it's also available as a Kindle e-reader and an audiobook. And since I write for speaking, I wrote it basically to be an audiobook, and I voiced it myself, so that's my preferred medium, but you can get the Kindle e-reader or order the book, and you can get it when I speak. I bring them with me, the printed ones, or go to my website, danhegstad.com, and for those of you listening on the podcast, it's danhegstad.com, danhegstad.com. Links to where you can get that on Amazon or on the website, or if you'd like to look into booking me as a speaker, all that's on my website also. Today I want to talk about happiness. You know, because this book is all about digging into the big, important questions, and happiness is one of them. If you don't know what you want, what makes you happy, how are you going to get it? And I'm an advocate of you making a list. First of all, you have to think about it. What do you need or want to be happy? What would make you happy? And this isn't a I'll be happy when list. These are things you'd like to have, how you'd like to be, and so forth. I'll dig into that in just a moment here. But I want you to think about it, and then I want you to get out a piece of paper, regular paper, and a pen, and I want you to write it down. And I think that is critical. How many times have I said that? It's critical that you put ink on paper. Yes, you can type it. Yes, you can think about it, all that. The people who are going to get the most out of this are going to do what I say, and that is getting a pen and a piece of paper and writing this down. Very few people are going to do that. But if you want to get the most out of life, if you really want to move from coping to thriving, if you want to be happy, that's what you're going to do. This is what it takes to make it work. Get a pen, get paper, sit down, and start writing. And then when you're done writing, just sit for a while and more stuff will come. And keep this list because you're going to keep adding to it. This is important, and this is true of all the lists that I'm going to ask you to make as you go through this process. So what is happiness? What is reality? What is happiness? What does it mean to you? And it's not just stuff. Stuff is fine, and you can have stuff, but, who do you want to be? I am blank. What do you put in that blank? What do you want to put in that blank? And this isn't a goals list so much. We'll do a goals list, and it'll be the same thing. What do you want to accomplish out of life? This is what will make you happy. What do you get enjoyment out of? And when I meet people, a great way to spark conversation is, what do you do for fun? And I'm shocked still that the number of people don't know what they do for fun. They can tell you all about their work, but what do you do for fun? I guess I like fishing, Well, listen. The list of what you do for fun better be top of mind and more important than work. That's what happiness is. Now, if you enjoy your work, that's great. Go for it. What do you do for fun? And so, okay, you like gardening. You want to do more of that. I'm a biker. I like to do more bicycling, and I've learned specifically mountain biking. If you like to fish, well, where do you want to fish? Are there some new places and so forth? What would get you enjoyment? When I retired, my wife and I bought a camper and a truck to pull it. And we discovered after a year we didn't use it because we had an animal that wasn't well. We couldn't travel much. Well, we'll go in the fall. And then we didn't. And we didn't use it for the first year. And we were on a road trip in our truck. It was a Ford Explorer. Down to the southwest, and we thought, I don't think we're going to use that camper that much. That's a serious hobby if you're going to get into camping. And here you've got payments, and it's just mileage, and you're driving a vehicle that's bigger than you need. We sold the camper, we traded the Explorer in, we got ourselves a Subaru Outback, because what we discovered was we want to take longer road trips, and we don't want to camp. If we want to camp around, we live in central Minnesota. It's great camping here. Maybe we'll do some of that later, whatever. But anyway, so we are discovering what makes us happy. We want to do longer road trips around the U.S. That's a different vehicle. And it's okay to change your mind. I guess that's part of my point here. So what makes you happy? Well, it's changed now that we're retired. So be aware of that. This gets to change. You get to update it. And part of us thinks, well, this is selfish. Well, yeah, it's okay, but you're not doing this to the detriment of anybody else. This isn't a how are you going to do this list. It's what do you want to be happy. So make that list. Maybe you really want to change careers. I mean, just write it down. You don't have to figure out how to do it or whether it makes sense. Just what do you need? What do you want? Here's a paragraph from my book here. Before you start deciding who you want to be, it's important to consult with others. You should gather and convene a committee to advise you. This is very important. Be sure to include family and make sure some of them are old. They will know the wishes of those who have died. You must consult with them also. Make sure you involve people with strong opinions, especially in politics and religion. It's critical to include people who knew you as a child, teachers, coaches, pastors, camp counselors. Get the group together early and ask them in great detail how you disappointed them and how you could be a better person. Now, obviously, that isn't true. But that's where our brain goes. That's where that reptilian, that base brain goes, is we worry about others. What's their opinion? Let it go. Man, let it go. This is all about you. And it's not, you don't have to do any of these things. I mean, I would really like to ride in a rocket up to space. That's not going to happen. I want to drive a train. I don't think that's going to happen. But that would make me happy. That would be pretty cool. But that's not the point. You get realistic about it later, or you might find out that some of these things that you thought were impossible could actually happen. It doesn't matter. This isn't an I'll be happy when list. This is just, what do you need to be happy? Think about that. And a lot of this really is going to come down to who do you want to be? Who are you as a person? What will be fulfilling to you? And you get to try different things. This isn't cast in stone. It is ink on paper only because it makes it real in your head. This isn't a promise you're making to anybody or anything, even yourself. It's just ideas. What do you need to be happy? And need? No, that's not the word. What would you like? What would you like to be happy? Well, if you want to be happy, the first thing we think about is money. We want money. And, I buy 2-3 lottery tickets a week. I get it. But sometimes I forget, and I don't have any great illusions that it's going to happen. But I've done a fair amount of research into this, and I have found that people who win the lottery or inherit a lot of money, frequently, not always, but frequently, more than you'd think, it's a disaster. It's the worst thing that could possibly happen. Why? Because it's such a massive change, and they don't know how to handle it. Now, we all think, well, that's a problem I'd like to struggle with. Yeah, we would. But here's what they say, and wise people know what they're talking about. They, the wise people, tell you that once you have enough to meet your basic needs and beyond food and shelter, but being able to enjoy life, for me, it's some travel and so forth, engage in some hobbies. But once you get beyond that, more money doesn't make you more happy. Yes, we'd like to try, but sometimes it could be a real pain. Now, when I was teaching Tai Chi, I had a number of students who were therapists, and one of them told me that she had a client who was actually suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Why? She was beautiful. I'm not kidding. She was suffering PTSD because she was beautiful. Now, what's going on there? Well, she'd go through her whole life. She's just naturally beautiful. And women hated her, and men were hitting on her all the time. Think of that. Yes, there's a downside to being too pretty. So just think of that. Think of that. Those are important lessons to remember. I also remember going to the grocery store with, $22.19 and having to add up what I was buying. And I don't ever want to forget having that little money. And I do appreciate what I have now. I remember seeing a guy go to the freezer case and grab an armload of TV dinners and thinking, that guy's got money. I hope I never forget that. All right, so a couple of quotes here. One that I ran across years and years ago that has really driven my life. A guy from the 1800s, Christopher Morley, he was a writer and worked for newspapers, but he said, "There is only one success, to live your own life in your own way." There's only one success, to live your own life in your own way. And I believe that is absolutely true, and that's really what my book is about. It's about find out who you are and be that person. Have the courage to just be you, and it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. Letting go of these rules and others' expectations and the fears and all that. That's why I'm having you write this list. What does it mean? Maybe you're gay or trans or whatever, and so on your list is to be accepted by people as who you are. That would make you happy. It's not going to happen totally, but just think of that. So you'll figure out how to do it later or accept the best you can later. But those are the kind of things I'm asking you to put on this list. What is happiness to you? Think it through. And there's Carl Jung. He's the subtitle of the book. It's on the cover. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. It's great power you have in your head and in your hands if you just would wield it, know what you want, and go for it. It's a wonderful place to be, from coping to thriving. And people that are old and wise, and I really think we should listen to them, they always say that what really matters in life is not stuff. Stuff comes and goes, and it just doesn't matter. Yeah, I'd like to have a Jeep and a sports car and some other stuff, and I maybe do it someday, but it's okay if I don't. What really matters are people. It's your friends and family and relationships. And if you want to look at what tends to stave off Alzheimer's and degenerative brain diseases, one of the number one things is social contacts, people in your life. Those are really important. So put that on your list. That's what you're really going to need to be happy, is people in your life. Now, if you want to choose something different, go ahead. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you that people who've lived a long time and are happy say that's what it is. It's people in your life. It's not the stuff. All right. That's just seems to be a universal truth. Get some paper, find a pen, make a list of what's going to make you happy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to look into booking me as a speaker or buy the book, it's danhegstead.com. And that's it for this episode of Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving.